Welcome back to Assen in the Netherlands. The final race of the day, MXGP Race 2, 30 minutes plus 2 laps, is about to get underway here. It's round 18 of the FIM Motocross World Championship, and it's the MXGP of the Netherlands at the infamous Assen TT circuit. We started the day with beautiful, clear blue skies, not so much as wind out there on the racetrack, but it's starting to pick up, starting to get overcast. Will there be a little bit of rain in the final race? We hope not. We don't think there is. But if you're just joining us for the first time for MXGP this weekend and wondering what happened in race 1 ahead of this second MXGP race, here's how it went down earlier. The gate dropped and Tony Cairoli from over on the right-hand side swept across everybody into that turn. He grabbed himself a 15th Vauxhall shot at the same time as well. Tim Geiser almost lost the back end and almost took Roman Febvre with him, but he managed to stay upright in second. Febvre was there in third, Bobryshev briefly in fourth before Van Hoorbeek was right there, but Herlings didn't make a great start. He was quickly siding his way through the field, though. That pass on Roman Febvre got him into third early on lap 3. He then went after Tim Geiser as Cairoli started to pull clear. Clément de Sal, a big crash over the Ippon jump. He will maybe not start the second race. We're still waiting to hear confirmation. Herlings found his way past Tim Geiser around lap 7 of 20. And then he went after Tony Cairoli. It whittled down about 7 seconds. Cairoli wasn't so gentlemanly. Thought, you know what, let's have a play here. And the two did go backwards and forwards for a little bit. Cairoli responding immediately. And the fans treated to a real showdown between the giants of MXGP. Herlings, mindful of the games that happened in Lommel, just taking a quick look over to see what Tony was doing in the turn, but he made a mistake on the jump, and Herlings was back in the lead. The fans roared their approval. The team were watching anxiously. Geiser crashed spectacularly out of third. He would not rejoin the race. Another rider who probably will ride, but doubtful. Febvre stalled on the final lap. He had an 8-second advantage over Max Anstey at the start of the lap, and Anstey actually passed him on the finish line in the final stages of the race. The final lap, in fact. Herlings hung on for the victory ahead of Tony Cairoli, who came home second, but it was Cairoli who was crowned world champion for a 9th time. And that was 2 years of not winning, frustration all built up in one massive sigh of emotion. Lisa was down on the grid earlier. She caught up with Max Anstey, but before that, Jeremy Van Hoorbeek.
Welcome to the start of the final race of the day. It's the MXGP Race 2. I want to speak to Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, who had a pretty tough moto, and you didn't actually finish, did you? Just tell us what was the problem in that first race.
I was feeling comfortable. I was easy in 5th position, and you know, the last waves before the finish line, the bike got sideways and it kicked me off the bike pretty bad, and yeah, everything was bent, so I had to pull out. It's a shame because I felt really good, and yeah, you know, I'm sore but nothing serious, and you know, I'm just gonna try to do my best, you know, and go home safe because I feel sore enough already.
Okay, well, try and take it easy, but I've got a feeling that you won't. Jeremy Van Hoorbeek there. From a rider that didn't have a great first moto to Max Anstey, who actually finished in 3rd in that first race, who's just here. Max, if you can hear me, just tell me about that first moto finishing in 3rd.
Yeah, it was good. It was close with Febvre at the end. Man, it's tough out there. We had so much rain this week. It's what I would imagine a beach race to be like. So it's getting better and better throughout the day today. But the track's just so wet, and obviously there's nowhere for it to go apart from on the concrete. So the whole thing's really wet. But it's making it difficult. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the next one. Have a good start and try and put myself in a good position. It's tough if you're not out at the start in a good position. Then it makes life difficult. But same for everyone, and we're going to get the job done.
Good luck in the second race. Okay, Max Anstey there. Good luck to all the guys. It's time for MXGP Race 2.
Jeffrey Herlings will go to the line first as a result of his qualifying race win on Saturday. Tim Geiser will line up second, then Paul-Ann, Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, Kevin Strybos, Roman Febvre, Evgeny Bobryshev, Max Nagel. That first race, what we didn't show you, or what we didn't tell you, was the top 8 riders: Herlings, Cairoli, Anstey, Febvre, Strybos, Coldenhoff, Bobryshev and Paul-Ann were the only guys that completed 20 laps. Which means the leaders, Jeffrey Herlings, Tony Cairoli, lapped up to 9th place. Tanon Leoc, Max Nagel came home 10, Sean Simpson was 11, former race and Grand Prix winner around here, don't forget, on his Wilvo Yamaha. Philip Bengtson was 12th, Harry Kulas 13, Tommy Searle 14, Rui Gonçalves, Alessandro Lupino, Damon Growler, Sven van der Meerden, Jeremy de Lintz and Joni Eert, your top 20 point scorers. No points on the board after that big crash in race 1 for Tim Geiser. Jeremy Van Hoorbeek also crashed out through the waves on the way to the finish line. De Salle crashed out over the Ippon jump into the Armco off the side of the track there. And just looking to see if he lines up. He did go for a medical checkup, so too did Geiser. And just looking to see if Geiser is down there on the grid. Jeffrey Herlings, your winner from race 1, lining up on pole position. Roman Febvre threw away a golden opportunity of a 3rd place finish in Moto number 1. He stalled the bike on the exit of turn 1 just before the 1 lap board. Max Anstey was able to capitalize on that and passed him on the run to the finish line to edge the Frenchman down to 4th. Tony Cairoli riding with a number 1. Don't see that too often. The normal 222. And I was wondering actually whether he would wear the number 1 on the shirt as well. But as you can see, it's just number 1 on the front, 222s on the sides. He's Tony Cairoli, he can do what he wants. Normally you're supposed to have corresponding numbers with shirt and plate. But as we said, we all know who he is. And just being told that Clément de Salle is not on the grid. So de Salle obviously not fit to ride, or maybe choosing not to ride. And also Tim Geiser opting not to ride as well. I did speak to his brother Nick briefly during the break to ask, is he okay? He was like, so-so. Will he ride? So-so, not sure yet. But that being confirmed to me. There is Max Nagel, the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna factory rider. He came home in 10th in race 1. He'll be hoping for better in race 2. And Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, likewise. He was in a great position before he disappeared from 5th. He was closing in on his teammate. Geiser was just ahead of him as well. He was never too far away from the top 2 of Tony Cairoli at the time and Jeffrey Herlings. Gauthier Paul-Ann came home 8th. And he'll be hoping for better as well. We're just moments away, though, from MXGP Race 2. The 15-second board is up here. MXGP Race 2, round 18 of the FIA Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of the Netherlands here at the Assen TT circuit, the man-made circuit in the confines of the road race venue. The revs are up, we're about to go racing here. Tony Cairoli will ride with the number 1 on the front of that Red Bull KTM, looking for a 16 foxhole shot, but it will come from the outside, just as it has done all day long, and it's Nagel who hits the foxhole shot line. And this actor, that's Bobryshev, and a bunch of guys, and somebody, the bike launching itself into the crowd. And was that Herlings? No, Herlings is there. And he takes wide Tony Cairoli, the new champ. But Nagel for the 3rd time with a foxhole shot, but I think that must have been the Red Bull KTM of Glenn Coldenhoff that launched itself through there in a bizarre set of circumstances. Over the line for the first time, though. Nagel leads, Febvre 2nd, Lupino for Red Motor, Asso Motor coming out in 3rd, but Van Hoorbeek charging down the inside immediately, almost trying to get 2 passes in 1 turn there as he went for Lupino and his teammate. Romain Febvre, and he might do Febvre by the end of the straight. He does. Jeremy Van Hoorbeek normally says, when I get a good start, I know I can challenge for a win. Well, let's see if he can ring true with that. But look at the speed of Herlings, blasting past the Honda 77 of Lupino. Just behind them is Anstey around the outside. There's Nagel there in first. Van Hoorbeek second. The two Monster Energy Yamahas locked together with Febvre in third. Herlings for Red Bull KTM around the outside in fourth. Will he be leading by the end of the lap? Herlings knows the title is done. Maybe can just relax a little bit now as well. So too Cairoli. He's just struggling to find his way past, but Anstey is on the charge. He's already found his way past Cairoli. And I think Strybos as well, because where is he? He's in 5th place there, number 99. There's Cairoli, there's Lupino, there's Paulin. So Strybos losing a few positions, but everybody bunching up now towards the end of this first lap. Plenty of time to go, of course. MXGP race 2. The run down to the line. And it will be Max Nagel who crosses the Monster Energy finish line then with a 1:39.5, the fastest lap of the race. Probably that will remain throughout the moto. Van Hoorbeek second, just 1.6 seconds behind. Febvre third, Herlings 4, but not for long because he dives down the inside of the Frenchman in turn 5 over on the far side of the circuit, opposite end to where the start line is, and he goes after Jeremy Van Hoorbeek for second and maybe even Nagel for the lead. Anstey just behind them in 5th place. Cairoli right there in 6th, and he's looking menacing as well. Van Hoorbeek in danger of losing second to Herlings, who easily goes around the outside of the Yamaha rider. Lets him have it as well. Through the next turn, realises that Herlings may be just too strong, too fast here. Goes after Max Nagel now for the lead and what would be a potential double race win. Down past pit lane for the second time. Nagel leads Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. Pass and go is the message from Banksy down there to Jeffrey Herlings. Two Yamahas there, 3rd and 4th. Van Hoorbeek bouncing back from a DNF in Moto number 1. Battered and bruised after a crash through the wave section around the midpoint of the moto. There's Febvre. He could still potentially get himself on the podium as well this weekend with a good solid ride here. He'll want to pass his teammate as well, but look at the drive. Herlings gets out of the final turn. He finds his way into the lead. Well, if you're going to make a pass, make it somewhere where the fans are going to cheer you on, and that's what Jeffrey Herlings has just done there as he goes past Nagel with a fastest lap of the race, a 37.5, obliterates the time from a lap ago of Max Nagel. Takes the lead in the process. Febvre just getting pitched behind the 89 of Van Hoorbeek as he hit that jump midway down the straight. See those holes really starting to carve out. The toughest race of the weekend. It's faster than it was yesterday. It's more open. The jumps and the bumps more challenging at this stage of the afternoon. And Febvre working his outside lines here as he goes after his teammate, cuts it back to the outside, and then maybe the inside here. No. This is holding up Febvre. Anstey right there as well, ready to pounce. He was 3rd in race 1, don't forget, with a final lap pass on the Yamaha rider ahead of him. Tony Cairoli just behind this group of riders on the Tag Heuer jump now in 6th place. Paulin is 7th. 8th, Strybos. Here is Glenn Coldenhoff. Watch what happened here on the replay of the start. Somebody went down. Bobryshev went down as he went into turn 2. Watch. And then watch the bike just take off over the Armco. Pulls a front flip. And just nestles over the railings there. Very lucky for everybody concerned. Tony Cairoli Quick flash of the now 9-time world champion. He's taken a couple of laps to get himself warmed up. Goes after Max Anstey. Jeremy Van Hoorwijk, Romain Febvre, the three riders directly in his line of sight. He would love to be on the podium here. Of course, he would love to win the Grand Prix as well, but just giving himself way too much work to do. He's already 7.5 seconds behind race leader Jeffrey Herlings, his teammate over at Red Bull KTM. But things just starting to get interesting now. Everyone settled down, they're warmed up, they know where their lines are. Cairoli, wow, the 32-year-old, almost 32-year-old, charging down the inside of Anstey. Anstey probably didn't realise that Cairoli had closed in quite as quickly as he had there. Certainly caught the Brit by surprise, who looks to return the compliment, but just backs out of the challenge, allows Cairoli to have that line through that far turn over on the backside of the circuit. Keep working, go for it. There's a message to the 99 of Max Anstey. His teammate Nagel is in second, just a couple of places ahead of him. Here he is. And there's Herlings, the other end of the straight, your race leader. It was 3.2 at the end of lap 3. We are now on lap 4. Febvre looking at a second podium right now. He was 4th in race 1, is currently 3rd in race 2 here. That'll give him 38 points, 1 more than Tony Cairoli, 2 more than Max Anstey. So Cairoli and Anstey are the danger men in terms of Romain Febvre getting on the podium or not. Febvre could help himself, though, by getting past Max Nagel just ahead of him there, but he can't afford to hang around. Easier said than done, though. You can't just race this racetrack. You have to ride it. You have to respect it. Buries his Yamaha in deep there from our overhead cam. Almost looked like he was a bit too tight in that right-hander. He won his World Championship here in 2015. Don't forget. Romain Febvre. But it's Herlings who continues to lead. He's only 4.1 seconds clear of Nagel. He hasn't dominated this Grand Prix, Herlings. But there's still time for him to pull clear. 21 minutes plus 2 laps to go. He leads Nagel with Febvre, Van Hoorwijk and Cairoli, the 9-time champ there in 5th, looking to find his way past the 2 Yamahas. How much has Tony Cairoli been celebrating in the break between race 1 and race 2? We'll soon find out, soon enough. He buries his KTM around the outside of Van Hoorwijk there, bar to bar. He holds the inside line in the final turn. An easy pass on the Belgian, gets himself up into 4th. Are we going to see a Cairoli masterclass here? He left his charge a little too late in race 1. Whoa, keep over to the right, Tony. That jump has already had casualties this weekend in the form of Jago Geerts and Clément de Sal. Don't add your name to that list, keep it more central. But he's had an awesome season, hasn't he? Tony Cairoli. Bounced back, 2nd overall in the championship last year, still riding not 100%. But firing on all cylinders this season. An explosive start in Qatar with 2 wins at the very first round. He was victorious on a memorable weekend in Trentino as well. Final lap, he found his way past, was it Bobryshev, I think, to nail home the Grand Prix victory. He was victorious in Germany in Teushenthal as well. Wow. Febvre just a little bit out of shape there. Then he won 3 in a row in Lombardia, Portugal and Loket in the Czech Republic. But 2nd, 3rd, 4th, right there in the same shot. Max Nagel, Rockstar Energy Husqvarna, the Monster Energy Yamaha of Romain Febvre in blue in the middle here. And Tony Cairoli, 4th at the moment. There's Herlings coming back in the opposite direction. A 38.8 last time for him. And a 6.4 second advantage. Will that be extended at the end of lap 6? We'll soon find out, because there's Nagel working his way through those very physically demanding weights. The 40.4, so 7.6 the gap now. Febvre 9.3 and Cairoli 10.4. Cairoli definitely looking a bit more efficient through this part of the racetrack, wheeling on to the face of those jumps and almost landing in the rear wheel of Romain Febvre, jumping through the turn and sweeps around. Romain Febvre takes third away from the Frenchman, or does he? Febvre responding here. Cairoli just digging it deep, takes the pass away. He's got his head down, goes after Nagel, doubles down, lands through the middle of the turn. Oh, a couple of goes on the tear-offs. Cost him a little bit of time, but he just wants to get clear track ahead of him. He's third at the moment. Febvre is fourth. That might knock him off the podium. We'll soon see next time around. He might just be okay. Van Horebeke is fifth. Anstey is sixth. Paulin 7, Strybos 8, Lupino 9, Leoc 10. Cairoli again, more efficient through that left-hander as he goes after Nagel. Nagel just burying it too deep on the inside, buries it deep as well as he tries to line himself up straight through the wave section. Cairoli again a little bit quicker through there, a 39.7 for Herlings, a 42.1 and a 40.5. All of a sudden, Cairoli all over the back of Nagel. There is Gauthier Paulin. He's in 7th place, just behind his teammate. And there is Kevin Strybos, Suzuki World MXGP. 5th in race 1, 8th at the moment in race 2. That'll keep him 6th overall in the classification. Was on our MXGP TV studio show on Saturday. Asked him about next year, because it's obviously no secret that he won't be at Suzuki in 2018. Does say he has a ride lined up, but they'll be making announcements at the end of September, beginning of October. So it'll be interesting to hear what he has planned for at least another year, you would think. 32 years young. Is the 108-year-old. Going after Gauthier Paulin. Rockstar Energy Husqvarna all but nailed 3rd place in the championship now, because Clément de Saux was his closest rival in that fight for 3rd. De Saux crashed out of moto number 1, did not pick up any points, did not start moto number 2. And so as it stands right now, as Cairoli homes in even closer to the number 12 of Max Nagel, Paulin is on 5.72 and De Saux on 5.44. That's 28 points, so not quite a done deal at the moment. So still work to be done for Gauthier Paulin and Clément de Saux as they dispute 3rd place at the final round in France at Villars-sous-Écot in a week's time. That will be the MXGP of Pays de Montbéliard. Get all the information on mxgp.com. Don't forget you can follow us on our social media platforms as well, on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter. And we also have our end of season offer, a 70% discount on MXGP TV as well, where you get to see everything on demand now, everything that's happened during the season. That also includes the FIM Monster Energy Motocross of Nations at the end of the month, end of September, 1st day of October at Matchley Base in Hampshire, just outside of Winchester in England. Herlings now almost 13 seconds clear of Nagel. He's done a very good job, hasn't he, Max Nagel, staying there in 2nd place. 2 seconds clear of Tony Cairoli, the now 9-time world champ. It'll be a 1-2 overall for Red Bull KTM, 1st and 2nd. Herlings Cairoli with 2 wins for Herlings, 2nd and 3rd at the moment for Cairoli. Febvre is still on the podium, 3rd overall with 36. 2 4th place finishes. Anstey, though, might have something to say about it. There he is, the number 99 for Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. If he can find his way past Van Horebeke, gets him a point closer, but it'll still be Febvre that stands on the 3rd step. So Anstey just needs to dig deep here with 14 minutes plus 2 laps to go in MXGP Race 2. Max Nagel, number 12, hanging on to second place from Tony Cairoli here, number 1 on the front of that 2:22 Red Bull KTM, who is chasing him down in third. Jeffrey Herlings, 15 seconds clear at the head of the field, has this thing all but wrapped up, and it will be another home Grand Prix victory for the Bullet, proving once again why he is the best rider in the sand in the world. Fourth is Romain Febvre on Monster Energy Yamaha, and he is in line for taking third overall in the Grand Prix here. That'll be his second podium visit in 3 rounds. Of course, he was on the podium in Sweden just a couple of rounds ago with second overall. It'll be a third place finish for him here, but as we saw in race 1, you need to be concentrated at all times. He stalled coming out of turn 1 in the moto number 1, and that handed third at the final turn to Max Anstey. So Febvre will be mindful of that. This is still the battle for second. Nagel and Cairoli, former KTM teammates, of course. Nagel without a ride at the moment for 2018, although there are various rumours associated with the number 12 German for 2018. He hits the line now, 10 laps in the bag, a much better start, much better pace for him. He'll be more than pleased with this performance here. He was 8th in the championship at the start of the weekend. He'll move to 7th because Van Horbeke didn't score in race 1. Whoa, Brian Boulard, I think that was, the 47, yeah. Nagel, though, having a good steady ride as Boulard just having a little bit of leg swag of the wrong kind through that tight right turn as they enter the back part of the racetrack. Sun out on this side of the racetrack, though. The autumnal sunshine starting to bear down on this tough Assen TT racetrack. Febvre 4th, Van Horbeke 5th, Anstey in 6th. Teammate to the number 12 there of Nagel. Gauthier Paulin is 7, Kevin Strybos 8. For Suzuki World MX2, Alessandro Lupino, great ride for him for Red Motor, Assa Motor in 9th place. And Tano Leot for Ottaviano Husqvarna. 10th is, so they're 10th for the Estonian. 11th for Harry Kulas. 12th, Philip Bengtsson. Sean Simpson for Wilbo Yamaha. 14, Milko Podizek. Damon Crowler's 15 for 24MX. 16, Jeremy Delint. Maxime Dupre, 17. And the former EMX 250 European Championship contender, Maxime Dupre on the Gebben Van Venrooy Kawasaki, well inside the points here. Then Coldenhoff 18th after his off-track excursion, or his bike looped out into the stands there on the start. 19th for Bobashev, 20th for Sven van der Meerden now. Febvre over the line, though, in 4th. His teammate close behind, about 1.7 seconds further back. So is this going to be a final scrap between the Monster Energy Yamahas of Romain Febvre there and his teammate in the background, Jeremy Van Horbeke? Coldenhoff down. Just coming out of, well, it was just right on the infield circuit. Gives you some idea as to how far he was down the order, because Herlings goes through and laps him. Coldenhoff now 18th down to 20th position, so losing 2 positions with a fall through one of the turns on the infield section. He'll try and get those positions back, though, if he can latch on to Jeffrey Herlings, who's just lapped him here. His teammate at Red Bull KTM, of course. This will be a good bounce back as well from Romain Febvre. Didn't score in the US a week ago. Fell out of the top few positions around about the midpoint of race 1. Didn't race the second moto. So to bounce back here with a 3rd overall finish at the venue where he lifted his MXGP title 2 years ago, it'll be a good effort from the Frenchman. He's got his teammate closing in on him, though, in the form of Jeremy Van Horbeke. He dared pass him, would he, in the final stages of the race to deny him the podium? So Jeffrey Herlings coming into land. Slight kick. Just grips the bike nice and tight, though, gets it back into line. Tells his Red Bull KTM to behave. Probably didn't even batter an eyelid. Jeffrey Herlings. Look how smooth he is through there. That's how efficient he is. Just perfect timing everywhere. Jumping, using stuff as doubles. He'll still wheelie onto the face of that and still double. But he's going around the outside there. It's a lot smoother going in. More momentum going out. He doesn't go too high in the berm. He just uses the base. Gets that paddle tire hooking up. So the Pirelli's doing their job here for the KTM squad this weekend. No doubt about it. 16 seconds clear at the start of the lap over Max Nagel. Nagel still very, very strong in the closing stages of this race. About 4 seconds clear of Cairoli, the new champ. The 9-time champ, Tony Cairoli. That's Bobryshev from one side of the track to the other. He's also about to get lapped here. He's now up to 15th because he's found his way past David Browlers and Jeremy de Lintz. And Herlings will be lapping him in a second. There's Fevre, still in fourth. His teammate not closing on him, so he'll be pleased with that because he cannot afford to lose any more positions. Max Anstey in 6th place is only a point behind Romain Fevre in that position, or in that race, for the final podium of the day. Herlings on 50, Cairoli on 42, with his 2nd and 3rd at the moment. Fevre with 2 4th-place finishes, 18 points apiece on 36. Anstey with a 3rd and a 6th at the moment, 20 and 15. He's on 35. Nagel on 33. That would be your top 5 in the general classification here today. And there is Max Anstey, not looking a threat to either of the Monster Energy Yamahas at the moment. That's the space between 4th, 5th and 6th. Fevre, Van Hoorbeek and Anstey. See the technique, how the riders just stand on the pegs. The more accomplished stand riders grip the bike a little bit more, grip the frame, pick the front wheel up. That is the common denominator. Just let the back end do all the work. Here's Nagel and Cairoli. So Cairoli has closed in a 2-second deficit, and he's challenging Max Nagel here on lap 14. And he keeps over to the right-hand side. It's a little bit firmer out there and a bit smoother on the run-in. He goes around the back marker. A slight bobble there for Nagel. He realises the threat is very real. Defends the inside line as they hit the foxhole shot line there. Cairoli just out Teros, I think. Definitely wiping the lens. Yeah, he's got goggle issues. He's used all his tear-offs, all his laminates. Really struggling. He gets himself right under the rear wheel of Nagel and has to let him go. Sand pretty wet here as well, so it's not just a case of just knocking the lens and just letting the sand just fall off. It's going to be a smeared lens for him. So will we see him ride without goggles here, or is he just going to hang back? Still wiping the goggles, Tony Cairoli. Romain Fevre in the background, bringing with him his Yamaha teammate and Max Anstey. 4th, 5th and 6th, once again, all in the same shot. Cairoli at 46.3, Fevre at 44.0, Van Hoorbeek 43.9, and Anstey 43.0. So Anstey, the quicker of those 4 riders there. Cairoli, Fevre, Van Hoorbeek, and himself. Has he got the second wind? Romain Fevre just doing his best to keep it up on 2 wheels, not make any mistakes. Jeremy Van Hoorbeek is closing, and he's going to start applying the pressure to his teammate in the next 4.5 minutes or so, plus 2 laps. 4.94, Sven van der Meerden just outside of the points at the moment as Fevre goes through. Look at the ruts on the downside of that Tag Heuer jump. And again, Fevre cannot afford to relax. Didn't look like Tommy Searle starting the race. No laps on the board. He would have gone down at the first turn, I think. Him, Nick Kjellberg, and Glenn Coldenhoff certainly would have been 3 bikes in that melee. Bobryshev did go down, he picked himself up, so hopefully no problems for Tommy Searle. Hopefully just a bite damage. He's had his fair share of injuries this year, no doubt about it. But over the line for the 15th time, Romain Febvre. Has he extended a gap over his teammate? Yes, he has. A 43.8, a full second then between him and the Belgian behind him. Anstey not going away. They're still applying the pressure to Febvre. Tano Leoc up to 9th. He's found his way past Alex Lupino. So a good performance from Leoc. Again, another veteran of the sport, still showing that he's got fitness in the tank and loves the tough conditions that deep sand racetracks offer. Sun starting to drop. The shadows getting longer. Visibility is going to be at less of a premium. Jeffrey Herlings works his way through the wave section, though. It's going to be 4 laps to go, I think, maybe. Because 1:42 lap time for him. Cairoli, has he made a mistake? Or is he just settling for... No, there he is. Just the camera angle as he went into turn 3. 43.8 for Nagel on the previous lap. He's about to hit the line now. Herlings was a 42.5. The Husqvarna rider, 45.0. What about Cairoli? 44.8. So that gap is coming back down again. 2 back markers in the way. There's Cairoli. Is he going to mount a last few laps charge onto the rear wheel of Max Nagel? Back markers might have a say in it. The rider just ahead of him there, Damon Growlers, number 71 on the 24 MX Honda. About to be lapped. Inside the points in 17th position. Pretty decent sand rider as well, Growlers. So again, just shows you how difficult and how fast the pace is in MXGP when Jeffrey Herlings here, your race leader, has a 24-second advantage over Max Nagel. Three to go as he gets to the end of the straight for Jeffrey Herlings. Just got word from Steve Dixon about Tommy Searle. The Coldenhoff Kuenberg incident going into turn 2 right at the start of the race took out Tommy Searle. Just got a knock to the ankle. No problems though, it's just he's got it iced at the moment just as a precaution, but walking on it no problem. He'll be okay for France next week. He'll be okay for the Nations. So good to hear. Here's Van Hoorbeek and Anstey though. Anstey all over the back of the Yamaha rider as we enter the 3 laps to go stage of the race. He is still 1 point behind Romain Febvre in that quest for 3rd overall. Febvre here just at the bottom of his screen, and the 99 on that white Husqvarna is Anstey, looking to go after Febvre's teammate Jeremy Van Hoorbeek. He'll pass Jeremy Van Hoorbeek. That'll be 1 point gained, and that's exactly what he's going to do here, because Van Hoorbeek will get held up behind Damon Growlers, fellow Belgian, and now back marker in this race. So an easy pass through for the 99. Can he hold it there, though? That will be tied with Romain Febvre, unless he can find his way past in the next 2 and a bit laps. He's got to dig deep, though. Febvre can't afford to relax. Anstey has to put it all on the line if he wants that 3rd step of the podium. That's the gap he's got to make up. Febvre in blue coming towards us over on the right-hand side. The back marker just ahead of him. I think that's Wysotsky, 8:31 possibly. And there is Anstey. He has Febvre directly ahead of him. Can he do what he did to Febvre in Moto number 1 and steal a position away? This time it will have greater implications. It will also be for the 3rd step of the podium here at the 18th round of the FIM Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of the Netherlands, here at Assen. 2 laps to go. Jeffrey Herlings, 33 seconds clear of Max Nagel. His teammate here, Max Anstey, fighting for the 3rd step of the podium. The guy there in blue, Cairoli down. That might also have implications. So the 9-time champ throws away 3rd place. Roman Febvre goes through and takes 3rd. That might be enough, and Anstey goes through as well. A rare mistake from Tony Cairoli. Watch this. Oh, just lost the front end in the easiest of corners. Can he fight back? Another battle that he might have to win here. That's going to have podium implications as well. He can't afford to relax, look, because you've got 89 Van Horebeke bearing down on him on the Monster Energy Yamaha. He lets him through. So Cairoli then, the 9th title wrapped up. A slight mistake just a few corners ago. Doesn't want to get involved in anybody else's, and he's still struggling with visibility on the goggles. I wonder if that was an issue for him. Just couldn't see the line in the turn. Went in, the front went down. He couldn't get the gas on the back end. So, and, oh, look at this. Febvre and Nagel. A fight for 2nd position. Herlings already over the line to start his final lap. Here is Jeffrey Herlings, well and truly on his way for making it a double moto win here at home at Assen in the Netherlands. He's won here in MX2. He's looking to make it back-to-back wins in the 2 different classes in consecutive years. Lupino boots up a whole rear wheel of Roost, but behind him, Max Nagel and Roman Febvre fighting over 2nd in the race. Anstey is also in the mix as well. Anstey will be on the podium, tied, because that mistake from Cairoli keeps him off the box this weekend. So we're looking at a Herlings, Febvre and Anstey podium on the final lap here. Talk about an expensive mistake for Cairoli, taking him out of 2nd position. But he has seen the bigger picture already today. A 9-time world champ crowned after race 1. Herlings celebrating in front of the fans on that side of the circuit. In 2 corners time, listen to the fans here. They're on their feet as Herlings rounds out the final turn. A standing ovation as the bullet comes through. Jeffrey Herlings stand up and take a bow. A mercurial display once again from the bullet. And that is a sensational atmosphere. Jeffrey Herlings may have lost the title chase today, but he wins his home Grand Prix here at the MXGP of the Netherlands here at Assen. Max Nagel is still there in 2nd, number 12. Febvre is 3rd on the Yamaha. It's going to be 3rd in Moto number 2 and 3rd and 2nd overall in the Grand Prix for the Frenchman, the former world champion. The fans on their feet for Febvre as he crosses the line. And that will be a relief for the Monster Energy Yamaha rider. Anstey over the line in 4th, and that's going to be good enough for 3rd overall for the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna rider. Jeffrey Herlings then celebrates down there. We'll grab a quick word with him in a moment. Tony Cairoli comes in. First thing he's probably going to do, he shakes his head. Look, that's how disappointed he is. A 9-time champ, disappointed with a slight mistake, keeps him off the podium, still trying to wipe his goggles. He won't be on the podium, but we will see him collect the gold plate as a world champion. Herlings salutes his fans, tells them how much he loves them. And we will hear from Herlings in a few moments' time. I wonder if these guys can crash the podium. Drop down the stairs, hang a left or a right if they enter out the front or the back door there. But Hopefully we get a raucous podium with the Dutch fans singing their national anthem. They know they can grace the area now that all races are done. But Herlings, double race winner here today. Fevre, second overall for the second time in 3 GPs. Those second place podium finishes are like buses. You wait all year for one, and all of a sudden two come along all at once. A fourth and a third today for the Frenchman. And Anstey back on the podium. He started the day in 11th. He will leave here 10th in the classification. And his first podium came in Lombardia, third overall that day. And it's third overall here today in Assen with a 3-4, tied on the points with Fevre. Cairoli fourth overall. And Max Nagel comes home in 5th. Strybos 6th, Paulin 7th, Leop 8th, Bobryshev 9, Coldenhoff 10. So two of the two guys that crashed through turn 2 on the start of the race worked their way through the field to 9th and 10th. We'll give you the official classification. That's overall, by the way. In the race, they came home 14th and 15th. But official confirmation coming up in a moment. But the fans getting a real treat here this weekend. A fantastic MXGP race 1 in which Jeffrey Herlings edged out Tony Cairoli, who was crowned world champion for the 9th time. And Herlings winning in dominant fashion. 35 seconds clear of Nagel in the end to make it a perfect day here at Assen to nail his home Grand Prix victory. Here he is, Jeffrey Herlings, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing. He's getting ready to talk to Lisa Leyland. Let's hear what he has to say.
Jeffrey Herlings, congratulations. Another double moto victory in front of your home fans in the sand. Tell us about your weekend.
It's been, just been really good. You know, obviously we won both motos. First one was a bit tough, but had a bad start. But second moto was much better. You know, riding felt better. We made some changes, and super happy. You know, the KTM's been unbelievable all year long already, and it's mainly the last couple of races. So I really want to thank those guys at KTM for putting in such a great bike for me. You know, it's been really proven the last couple of races. Star's been improving, and can't do without all the team. So I really appreciate that. And man, I just missed the boat, you know, this season. You know, I'm very happy and thankful. You know, the last couple of rounds been going really good. So I hope to keep this line going for next weekend and then the Nations and finish off the season strong.
Great job, thank you.
After a rocky start for Jeffrey Herlings, where there was not even a sniff of a podium in the first 5 rounds, since Valkenswaard, the European round, where he was second overall, Jeffrey Herlings has had 10 podiums. 5 of those have been wins, and he's only ever been off the podium 3 times in that time as well. France, where he was 7th overall, 4th in Locket in the Czech Republic, and 10th in Sweden. But Jeffrey Herlings, a winner for the 5th time, and what a place to do it here. No better place than home. Jeffrey Herlings back on top in MXGP. Official confirmation then, MXGP Race 2, Jeffrey Herlings, Red Bull KTM, your winner. Max Nagel, Rockstar Energy Husqvarna, Rover Fevre, Monster Energy Yamaha, 3rd. Max Anstey, 4th, Van Horbik, 5th, Cairoli, 6th, Suzuki World, MXGP's Kevin Strybos, 7th, and Gauthier Paulin in 8th. 9th for Tano Leop on the Ottaviano Husqvarna, and fellow Estonian this weekend, Harry Kulas. Of course, he's finished, but an Estonian licence, coming home 10th. Bengtson, Lupino, Simpson, Bobryshev, Coldenhoff, Gonsalves, Podazek, Growlers, De Lintz, and Sven van der Meerden picking up more points here in race 2. The overall classification for the MXGP of the Netherlands here at Assen. Jeffrey Herlings victorious in both races. Roman Fevre back on the box for the 2nd time in 3 Grand Prix, and Max Anstey, those two sharing the points. But it was Roman Fevre's better result in race 2 that gave him the edge over Anstey overall today. Tony Cairoli already confirmed as world champion in race 1. Jeffrey Herlings, though, still putting up a fight, second in points. It's not quite done yet for Gauthier Paulin. He's got a little bit of work to do. DeSalle didn't finish race 1 today, didn't start race 2. Will he remain doubtful for the final round of the season at Pays de Montbéliard in a week's time at Villars-sous-Écot? Manufacturer standings, KTM lead the way, and that looks like it's a done deal as well in MXGP. Foxhole shot, though, it was Max Nagel for the 3rd time this season. Martin Boomen, box dealer, handing Nagel another black plate. Cairoli already got that wrapped up, though. Before we even went to America. Fevre on 4, Geiser on 4, Nagel now 3. And if you're interested, DeSalle, Paul and Coldenhoff all have 2. Bobryshev, Anstey and Desiconis all have 1. Press and fans that have been able to get down towards the podium area, getting ready for what should be a very memorable podium here at round 18 of the FI Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of the Netherlands, here at Assen. Max Anstey, Rockstar Energy Husqvarna Factory Racing, on the podium for the 2nd time this year. 38 points, tied with 2nd place from France, Romain Fevre, Monster Energy Yamaha Factory Racing. And his 2nd visit to the podium, of course, his 1st visit was 3rd overall in Sweden. But Jeffrey Herlings taking it all in his stride. A double moto win, and the top step of the podium was never far away from his mind. But look at the reaction from Dirk Grubel, the crew chief and technical director down there at Red Bull KTM Factory Racing, ecstatic that Herlings has got himself on the top step of the podium here at home. Max Anstey takes his 3rd place trophy from Marco Uth, the Mayor of Assen. Thank you, sir, to you and all your colleagues for allowing us to make a mess of this road race circuit. We'll put it back to its original state, don't you worry about that. 2nd overall, Romain Fevre, but Jeffrey Herlings takes his winner's trophy from Dr. Wolfgang Strub, the FIM Europe president, and hands, of course, Dirk Grubel another winner's manufacturer's trophy to KTM. Another great day in the office for the Bullet. Tony Cairoli, though, a 9-time world champion. He won't just be up there taking the red plates. He will, of course, take the gold plates. He rode with the #1 on the front of his Red Bull KTM, the 222s on the side. But Tony Skillington, the FIM CMS director, hands Cairoli his gold plate. He will collect his medal in a week's time. But Jeffrey Herlings and the Dutch fans here, the anthem of the Netherlands, is next. Next up, the national anthem of Austria for KTM, winning manufacturer this weekend. A very happy Jeffrey Herlings stands on the top step of the podium. He looked like he enjoyed that one as well. It was more than just going through the motions, but the Red Bull KTM of Herlings takes the overall win here at the MXGP of the Netherlands. Roman Febvre, Monster Energy Yamaha, second overall, and Rockstar Energy Husqvarna's Max Anstey takes third. We will talk to those three in just a moment.
Jeffrey Herlings, congratulations, another double moto victory. Okay, you might have lost the title, but you proved to everyone why you're the best sand rider in the world.
Oh, thank you for the kind words. Yeah, I appreciate it. You know, I basically won every sand race this year instead of Ottabiano when I was ill. But 5 wins this season, man. You know, we had a tough start, but we came back strong. I think I even secured myself with the second position in the World Championship. So who thought that after four rounds when I was like in 15? So we still came back pretty good, and very happy about my weekend. Won qualifying, won both motos. Couldn't ask for more. So great birthday present for me for Tuesday.
Congratulations. Second overall today, we have Roman Febvre. Roman, second podium of the season, 2 solid motos. You couldn't afford to relax in that second race.
Yeah, first moto I was third all the moto, and then got passed by Max Anstey at the last on the finish jump. So I was really disappointed, but it's like this. I make a mistake before second moto. I just want to score good points to go on the podium, and then I was fourth, and then Tony crashed. So I was third, and then closed the gap to the second. I thought that I could pass Max Nagel, but I could not. So finish second overall. It's a good weekend. Just want to thank all my team, Monster Energy Yamaha Factory. They did a great job this year. It's not finished. One more to go, but we are happy from where we are now.
Congratulations, Roman. Third overall today, we have Max Anstey. Max, you've been strong all weekend, and in that second moto, you were right where you needed to be when Tony made his mistake.
Yeah, I mean, it was tough. This track was one of the toughest I've ridden. It was so wet. It was what I would imagine a beach race to be like, to be honest. And they did a good job because we had so much rain this week, and it was just so soft. And I did what I had to do. It was tough. I tried to make the best start I could. In the first one, I came from, I think, 8th or 9th on the first turn, and first turn was all right, and then second turn I got held up a little bit, but no, making progress, and nice to be up here on the box for myself and for the team, and you know, we've worked hard, so it's good.
Thanks, Max. Okay.
We are out of time, but what a memorable weekend here at Assen for the MXGP of the Netherlands. Next week, we return for the MXGP of Pays de Montbéliard at the circuit of Villars-sous-Écot. Congratulations to Tony Cairoli on winning that 9th title, and Jeffrey Herlings, your overall winner today at home. We'll see you in a week. Bye for now.